Hello! Military equipment is something that can amaze any ordinary citizen with its massiveness, formidability, and danger. But I suggest not to be frightened by the real machines, but just to go nuts over their no less cool replicas. In this video, you will see the top-notch military equipment on the control panel. Well, in order to see our interesting collections more often, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tank. Well, of course, this type of military transport has always been and will continue being the main type of weapon. Whatever one may say, this machine has a huge weight, it shoots powerfully and is able to hit enemies at long distance. I'm not sure how cool this particular vehicle is, but judging by the appearance as well as by the sound this model makes, the toy tank has been made properly. I also liked its color. Yes, even though silver is hackneyed, but in the case of a tank it looks very advantageous. Everything is combined in a cool way, the machine is quite compact and at the same time impressive. In general, it gets all 10 points out of 10. Now, I will show you a Supertruck. It differs from the previous transport in its cool details. Although it won't be able to get through real mud in the same cool way, you can open absolutely everything that you want. Its grills, hatches, doors, hood and all the other things that you see. Also, judging by the name of the toy, it is completely protected from explosions, if they happen in the toy world, of course. Although it may be some kind of real fireproof plastic or something like that. Write in the comments if anyone knows if this really exists. We've just had a Leopard tank, so in my opinion, this is the best time to show you the Tiger tank. Here is a copy of a German tank of the Second World War. This massive transport is almost as heavy as this mini copy, although the word mini hardly matches it. For the first time, Tiger tanks took part in the hostilities on August 29, 1942 near the MGA station near Leningrad and were being massively used during the conquest of Kharkov in February and March 1943. They were used by the Wehrmacht and SS troops until the end of World War II. The total number of the machines that were produced is 1,359 units. It is less than the Leopard, but this fact does not reduce the merits of the designers. Here is another tank, which the author of the video decided to call an Anti-Aircraft Complex. As for me, I don't see that this machine has anything to do with such a dangerous weapon. It is rather an old tank with different cool tweaks. You can remotely move the turret, turn the barrels and push some strange thing from behind. Most likely it is made to determine frequencies or coordination. In any case, the toy will do just fine as a part of the collection. I personally would not play with it outside. I think many people will agree with me. If I needed a tank for my farm, then I would certainly have something like that. Yes, it's true. Just look at this Dreamboat. It looks exactly the same as any other tank except for the huge barrel. The thing is, it looks like something made just for decorative purposes. But as for me, the main feature of this machine is all sorts of tools installed around the perimeter. As I understand, this is how the author of the toy has solved the problem of transferring spare parts and tools for them. I mean, if the tank breaks down on the road, it will not be a problem. You can take a bolt and a wrench and fix everything at once. But if tanks don't impress you much, then why not go back to the topic of military heavy vehicles? For example, this one is made of durable plastic. It has a classic dark green color and can be perfectly controlled. While it can be an ideal candidate for the collection, besides, the machine is so frisky that it feels like it can compete in remote control racings. Speaking of the remote control, it is also quite good. It is so easy to use it that even a small child can do it. The truck also holds the road well. It neither flies off the hills nor gets stuck in any way. In general, buy it until it's sold out. I call it like this. By the way, do you know how tanks were transported during the war? Of course, they could ride on the ground on their own. But what about the water? It requires some other methods. Well, similar transportation boats were used for such purposes. One or even several tanks were placed on them and then quickly transported the vehicles to the right place. Once on the other side, the tank easily moved out and set off on a mission. I don't know about you, but I really like this toy, especially as an addition to some of my favorite tanks. It is just super. Remember I showed you a thing for transporting tanks through the water? Well, as time passes and technology develops, people come up with all sort of amphibious equipment more and more often. These are the machines that can easily move on water and at the same time feel great on land. This heavy and large apparatus was no exception. Although it is just a toy, it does its tasks with extraordinary ease. The device looks very cool, it has bright front lights and is perfectly controlled with a remote control. And this is another very heavy machine that has been used by the military. I don't know its exact name, and to tell the truth, I don't think it's really important to know. It's much better to have information about the flotation of this ride. Although it is a toy, it rides through the mud as if it was created just for this. Everything is super smooth and without unnecessary slippage. The length of the vehicle is also impressive, you can easily put something on it. How do you like it in general? Would you play with it if you were a child? Well guys, this is a top German tank, which is known not just to every lover of history or military equipment, but literally to everyone. Here is a copy of the Leopard 2. The machine development program began in 1970. The first prototype was built in 1972. In 1976, the prototype Leopard 2 AV passed comparative tests with the Abrams prototype at the Aberdeen Proving Ground in the USA. The first serial Leopard 2 tank was handed over to the German Army on October 25, 1979. If you want to understand the scale, I will tell you that more than 3,200 tanks of this type had been produced by 2015. Our model, by the way, is made on a scale of 1 to 16 and perfectly repeats every contour, every screw and juggle of the originally military equipment. I think it's a very cool job. The Caterpillar drive is the best thing that mankind has come up with, if we're talking about winter and off-roads, of course. What I mean is that now I want to show you a top-end Caterpillar machine, which is made in the classic 1 to 16 scale. And unfortunately, I don't know what exactly this vehicle was, what troops it belonged to, and what role it played. And I don't really want to know, because I like the copy so much. When you look at the toy, you can feel how perfectly and beautifully it is made. Do you happen to feel something like this? Hammer is a very famous car that only those who live in a remote village or in the forest have never heard of. The car I am going to tell you about now reminded me of the H1 Hammer model. It reminded me of it because of this wide frontal part, as well as military color. However, H1 is a civilian version as far as I remember. Judging by the cannon mounted on top, this is obviously something else, but very similar. Therefore, I really suggest that you just enjoy this top military machine, and then check the comments and find out what it was. Psst. Hammer experts, write it under the video, don't ignore. Next in line is a Storm Tiger. This is the name of the German self-propelled artillery of the Second World War. While you're looking at this bright Dreamboat, I will tell you a few reasons why I would definitely buy such a toy for my country house. Well, here they are. Metal tracks, track tensioning mechanism, steel reductors with bearings on each gear, metal sprocket, metal track and support rollers, hatches open, LED headlights, a pneumatic gun for shooting balls, back blow. I could continue this list for a very long time, trust me. You just need to understand that this tank is definitely worth it. Well, now I will go back to my favorite topic, that is the German tanks. They really have a lot of them and you can discuss them for hours or even all days long. While the Jagdtiger is next in line. This is a German self-propelled artillery weapon of the Second World War. The Jagdtiger was mass-produced from 1944 to 1945. However, due to interruptions in the supply of the materials and the destruction of factories as a result of aerial bombardments, only 77 self-propelled guns of this type were handed over the customer. Due to the small number of vehicles, their unreliability and the constant problem of lack of fuel for them, the combat use of the Jagdtigers was limited and did not affect the course of the war. Although those vehicles that still happened to enter the battle demonstrated the ability to confidently destroy all models of armored vehicles of the countries of the anti-Hitler coalition participating in the war, while remaining almost invulnerable to their fire in the frontal projection. However, many of these self-propelled guns were simply abandoned by the soldiers after running out of ammunition, fuel, or after a breakdown. This is how the fate of a promising tank was ruined. Military off-road vehicles are another type of equipment that is an integral part of any military operation. If you have no idea what it is, then take a look at this 8-wheeler monster. Well, isn't it cool? Doesn't it get 200 points out of 100? Doesn't it grab everyone's attention? The cool thing is that the toy perfectly repeats the original model and also looks super cool on the road. But not only this, it stands and rests on pits of different depths no less impressively. In short, I just admire this off-road vehicle. Just 10 points out of 10. The following military equipment is more suitable for peacekeeping operations and counter-insurgency, and only where there is a developed road network. Some ignorant people may think like this, but history experts will immediately say that they are wrong. Just look at how cool and confident this vehicle is on the road. Yes, it feels like it doesn't need it at all. It could ride through the ruins that were before the rise of mankind. This car looks very cool, has a cool speed and amazing capacity. I don't know about you, but if I love to collect such things or just love to play toys in my childhood, I would certainly be among the first people to buy such a ride. Well, that's all friends, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like and goodbye for now.